All right, I think we might as well get underway. And anyone who is late can join us just a little bit later. So, good day, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be, where you're joining us from, folks. Thank you for being here today. So my name is Alex from DB Visit Software. I'm the head of development for the company, but we're just organizing this webinar. So the real star of the show, I'll introduce you to in just a moment. The reason that we thought we would do this webinar is because, Postgres deployment for Oracle DBAs is because Postgres is an increasingly important subject in Oracle communities. And we would know because we've been in Oracle for over 15 years. So I know it's a hot topic and something that people discuss all the time. So just before we get underway, a quick little bit of housekeeping. We do have translation services available for you in this webinar. So if you find it easier to follow along in something other than English, please click the button Show Captions down at the bottom and select whatever language you prefer. Please put all of your questions in the Q&A section. Don't wait until the end. We're gonna, as questions build up in the Q&A, we're hopefully going to address them towards the end of the webinar. And once we're done, don't worry, the recording will be made available to you. So anything you miss or anything that I talk over too quickly, you'll be able to catch up on once we're done. So once again, there's a particularly flattering marketing photo of me. My name's Alex. DB Visit are database disaster recovery experts. We've been in the business for over 20 years, primarily on Oracle and now on SQL Server and Postgres as well. But today is not about me for a change. It's not about DB Visit. The real star of the show is this gentleman over here, Umair. Say hi, Umair.
Hey.
So Umair is a 20-year-old veteran of the Postgres community and someone that we've become very friendly with over the last few months. And he is going to launch us on a very exciting and interesting journey today with this webinar. So I will hand it over to him. Let's get into it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here. And let me just figure out how to share my screen and we can start moving. All right. Let me know if you can see the title slide.
That's perfect. Yep, you're all good.
Excellent. Okay, great. So yes, thank you, Alex, and thank you, DB Visit, for having me here. It's always a pleasure speaking about Postgres, especially to an audience that is looking to cross-train and improve the skills in a different technology. I've been in the Postgres space for a while, and sometimes we get to have blinders on, not really knowing what's going on in other parts of the world and in other technologies. An excellent opportunity to talk to DBAs from coming in from other technologies. So yeah, this session is going to be focused on Postgres deployments and the typical areas that you need to be mindful of as you deploy. It's oriented towards Oracle DBAs, but I imagine that any newbie coming in from any other database technology should also be able to benefit from the content that we're going to discuss today. The 6 broad topics that we're going to be talking about, the overview of installing and deploying the database, the configuration files that you need to be mindful of, how to set up your database for disaster recovery for high availability, some little sneak peek into the Postgres ecosystem and the tools and extensions that are available to us, and what the popular cloud providers make available in terms of Postgres technologies. So first off, the overview of installing and deploying. Now, first off, the minimum hardware requirements for installing Postgres, they're fairly small. I mean, you can run it on a Raspberry Pi. You can run it on edge nodes for IoT. It has pretty bare minimum requirements when it comes to hardware. Just a single 1 gigahertz CPU, a single core would do 2 gigs of RAM would be enough. less than half, or half a gig of a hard disk should also be enough. Of course, this doesn't mean that this will make your database blindingly fast, or you can store loads and loads of data in it, but you can install and reasonably use Postgres on edge devices, even on a Raspberry Pi with very, very little hardware resources available.
That makes for a nice change from Oracle. We're used to, in the Oracle world, we're used to pretty significant hardware requirements.
Yeah, and this might also be one reason why Postgres makes it so easy to get started. You don't really need to invest a whole lot in infrastructure and hardware, and yeah, so fairly low barrier to entry.
And of course, the database itself is free as well, which is quite nice.
Yep, that's true. That is certainly true. So one thing that I want to explain before we get into some more details is what we mean by a repository. What it essentially means is that it is a central location, a place where we store a collection of software packages. And depending on the operating system that you're running your database on, the package manager for that OS needs to be told where to get software from. And that's what the repository is. So if you're using Linux or Windows or Mac, each has their own package manager, and you need to be able to tell it where to get Postgres from. And that is why the concept of repositories exists, and that is why the Postgres community maintains these repositories. And the repositories that are provided by PGDG, well, actually, let me just first define what PGDG means. It's the PostgreSQL Global Development Group, which is the official name given to the global community of enthusiasts and developers and contributors that come together to make this database. So, one clear differentiation between the community and commercial interests is that in PGDG, when I work with the global development group, it is on my own time. It's a volunteer effort. It's not a paid effort. It's the open source community that's coming together to do what we are passionate about. And there are a few repositories that are provided by the PGDG. I've listed them out over here. For Linux, we've got 3